Hello, it's Miranda again from Work at Home Adventures. I can be found at wahadventures.com. And I'm here today to discuss the work at home myths. We're on myth number 2. I can make $1,000 a month. Now, I think many of you are probably screaming and shouting, I'm making $1,000 a month. I know that's possible. That's not a myth. And you're right, $1,000 a month is absolutely obtainable. Most of us are making that, if not more. However, there's a common thinking or trait that I keep noticing when I read messages from readers who are looking to start their work at home career, and the common pay rate that they're looking for is generally around $1,000 a month. Excuse me, my voice is out. My whole family's been coughing all week. However, there are certain attributes that you either have to have or are willing to do in order to reach that goal of $1,000 a month, especially if you don't have any specific skills or trade of work that you're looking for. So that brings us actually to the first thing I wanted to talk about, was if you're looking to make $1,000 a month, if you have a skill or a trade, that would help you reach that goal a lot easier. Sometimes people's skills aren't necessarily something that they have worked for before, or do they even realize is something they could be doing to make money. For instance, my sister, she enjoys crocheting. And many times when you think of crocheting as a skill, you think, well, I'm going to crochet blankets or socks or whatever, and I'm going to sell them to sell your crochet products. But my sister found another way, an alternative way to actually make money online without having to be a salesperson, and that was by creating crochet patterns. What she found is that other people who crochet as well, they not only buy patterns, but they look usually for free patterns. So my sister created a website where she shares free crochet patterns, and she earns money through the advertising on her site. And so that's just one way where you kind of can be creative with some of your skills to look for ways to make your goal. Another way to make $1,000 a month is phone work. And this is limited, I know, to people who have the ability to work in a quiet environment. But even if you have children, you can make phone work for you. I worked from home over the phone for a company called LiveOps while I had a 2-year-old daughter. And I just worked this. You think of it, if you were going to work out of your house, you would probably manage maybe to have somebody there to watch your child. So I managed my phone work to happen when my husband was home to watch my daughter. So it worked out for us. We don't have an extra room in our house, so I ended up actually going out to the garage and setting up an office out there. We have a heated garage, so it worked out for us. But some people will work the phone after their kids are asleep in bed, which for me, again, I needed to make sure my husband was there because my daughter would wake up at all hours. And so he would be able to go to her if I was on a phone call or waiting on a phone call. But a lot of times if it's something you need to do, you need to make $1,000 a month, you can usually find a way if phone work is an option. Okay, a third option would be writing. Freelance writing is huge. People are making excellent money, excellent income, full-time income, working part-time hours as a freelance writer. And now you don't have to be a skilled writer necessarily. English language is absolutely important. You need to know your grammar, but freelance writing or content writing doesn't necessarily mean you need to be a creative writer. It's a whole different thing. So like websites or blogs, they need content, and a lot of times people are willing to pay for that content. I've paid $35 for articles just because I didn't have the time or the sometimes the know to write an article that maybe I wanted for my website. So I'll pay someone else to write that article because they maybe have the know of that topic, or just simply to save myself time. So becoming a freelance writer is an excellent way to make money, especially for that goal of $1,000 a month. And sometimes that means stepping out of your comfort zone. Maybe getting your start at a site like textbroker.com is a good place to kind of get a feel for what it is, what it means to be a freelance writer. And don't stop there. Their wages are low, but it is a good starting place. Okay, now, fourth thing to know, regardless of what path you take to make your $1,000 a month, the fact is to work. All right, let's say you're willing to make $10 an hour. $1,000 a month means you need to be able to work 25 hours a week, 5 hours a day for 5 days a week. I can't express that enough. I'm not sure. Sometimes I think people think somehow, I'm not sure where their mind is in this, that they're not quite understanding that they will have to work. That means sacrificing time you currently have, taking it away to spend it working. It means, like for me, instance, I put my kids in bed around 8 o'clock. 8:30 is usually when I'm able to walk away after reading books, whatever. Get started working. I have 8:30. I need to try and be in bed by around 11 o'clock in order to get up in time to get my kids ready for school the next day. So that gives me about 2.5 hours after I get my kids in bed. It would, if you're used to spending that 2.5 hours cleaning your house, maybe sitting and relaxing to kind of chill out for the night, get your brain, turned off. If you're going to become a freelancer, you're going to work from home, you have to be willing to give up that 2.5 hours and work. Some people, I know a lot of people who, while their kids are young, they're staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning, still managing to get up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning to get their kids off to school. Maybe they'll take a nap after their kids are gone. However, but people are managing it however it is needed. And that's the thing is, find the importance. Is $1,000 a month important to you? If it is, and if it's important for you to stay home, then do whatever it takes. The sacrifices that have to be made, be willing to make them. All right. And I know there's a lot of you out there who are and do, and I love talking to you guys. I have a lot of friends that I've helped get started working from home. I just love to see the growth, knowing that it's your own dedication, drive that make it work. If you're not really willing to make the sacrifices that's needed, it may not work for you. And that's okay. I mean, don't feel hard on yourself. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Some of us just don't have the motivation it takes because maybe our interest isn't in this. Maybe your interest is in something else. So don't be hard on yourself if you're not finding a way to make it work or a way to really make the sacrifices you need. Just look for what will work. Don't struggle too much. Look for what will work.